Hey guys, so I have my computer open here and I feel like I'm far enough away. Hey guys, I'll just mute that. So I thought I would start off before everyone gets here and we all hang out. I thought I would start by first saying that I'm not sure, hi, if the members only chat is on or not. I think it is. I'm sorry if it's not. Um, Hey guys, hi everyone. So I thought I would start today. First of all, I'm sitting in my bedroom because my son is playing Fortnite in the living room, and you might hear him uncontrollably laughing. Let's just deal with that. So, hello, hello. It's working. Cool. Um, so I was going to start off by talking about self-sufficiency. So if you don't mind, I'm not actually going to look at the comments for a second because I want to talk about something. It says members only chat is off. I know, but then it's also working. So I'm not sure what's happening. I'm gassed too. What's up? Hey, okay, let's see. If it's not working, then welcome everyone, and you can get a chance to see what we do in the members only stuff because by next time I'll have it figured out. Okay, so I want to start by talking about self-sufficiency and then we'll get to questions. Welcome, Kathleen. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the revolution. What do I mean? So earlier today I had correspondence with a loved one, and by a loved one I mean all of you. Literally, when I DM you guys, or you DM me, or you text me, or I text you, or you find my iMessage somehow, through my email or something, and you text me, I consider you guys my loved ones. If you're coming to me for advice, I'm assuming it's because you love me. And I have this terrible habit of loving people who love me, as should everyone. Anyway, so I was having a correspondence with a loved one, and she was saying something that all of us have said at one time or another, and all of us have felt, which is that you can fall down this rabbit hole of being alone and what it means to be alone. And it's funny that she said it because just earlier today I was driving with my son to go pick up his PS4 from his dad's house. And it occurred to me, we were listening to this song by Otis Redding called These Eyes of Mine. And it occurred to me as we were listening to it that the only drama I've ever had in my life had to do with me making someone else more important than me. Whenever someone else took that position in my life, drama ensued. And I just, like, in a flash understood why, because that's so against human nature. We're not supposed to put anyone before ourselves, because if we do, we can't provide for anyone properly. We can't love anyone properly. We can't do anything properly, actually. We can't learn anything properly. Hi. Thank you. Love you. Love, love, love. Welcome, Cancer. And then after that, it occurred to me that when you're alone is a space of waiting to be with someone again, you're drowning. You're just trying to get through your days. You're trying to push through until someone comes along and just, swoops you up out of the water and saves you. So if that's where you're emotionally at when you're single, anyone will seem like a viable option if they're in a boat and you're in the water. How are you supposed to use your mind and your heart and your standards and all of that to discern if someone is good for you or not, if they touch your heart or not, if they're good enough to be loved or not, if they even love you? How do you do that with any logic or sanity or clarity if your time alone is just in desperation of being alone, and that being such a terrible thing, or just this there's this immediacy to being alone. Like any minute you might meet someone and then you won't be alone anymore. But I don't get it, and I don't think I've ever gotten it. Um, Maybe because I've always felt very alone, and what I mean by that is I've always been keenly aware of how alone we all are. Like, I mean, unless you're a twin, you were born alone and you will die alone unless you die in some, mass death or something. Let's not be macabre, but I'm just saying, right? So this idea that somewhere between these two incredibly lonely points, we should engage in something outside of that pattern, is ridiculous. In essence, we are alone through this journey all the way. But if that has such a negative spin to it, then anyone who comes into your life is going to become so important because they saved you from that negativity. They saved you from that hell, right? So immediately you've put them on this pedestal as your savior. You get that, right? You get how that dynamic, just anyone you put in that situation, first of all, can never live up to it because they're not a savior, right? They can probably barely save themselves, as you often find out later in a relationship, because you're like, oh my God, I thought you were so together. You're a fucking mess. Like, why did I think you were so, you're a fucking mess. So what I mean, hold on, let me just see what's going on here. Hey, Sam. The fountain, right? So kind of we're talking about the fountain, but more we're talking about, let's go further, right? Do you have to pay to be a member? Yes, I think it's $4.99 a month. But it's more than the fountain, right? So now let's talk about what happens when you're at the fountain and you're just having the time of your life at the fountain. Now let's talk about what happens then. So what happens then is all these different people are going to come up to you. Not just the love of your life, not just the person that's meant for you. All kinds of tests will come up to you, all kinds of things to show you, and that you can learn from and discern and figure out what you like and what you dislike and what you're waiting for, what you're not waiting for. During that process, if you're having fun at the fountain and these things come up to you or these people come up to you, any one of those people, including the love of your life, can turn into a nightmare if you decide that you were just waiting there for them. Right? Because I've never looked at it that way. I've never looked at it like waiting at the fountain. I've looked at it like, this is my party and everything is magnetized to me. I choose to stand at the fountain. This fountain is my bitch. Basically. I own this fountain. It's my fucking fountain. That's where I've been, I think, from day one. Right? So, oh, thank you. Thank you. You see what I mean by that though? Like, do you see what I'm getting at? Like, there's an intentionality that we're talking about. This is an energetic signature, right? So I want you to see yourself as this broadcasting tower. You're giving off this signal, and everyone you meet is a tower and a receiver, and you're giving off and receiving these subtle signals. None of us know we're doing it, but we're all reading each other and we're all broadcasting something. Some of us can see that as color. Some of us can hear it as some sort of a mantra that you have going in your head. I can often hear it, what people say to themselves over and over again. It just like hits me right in the face when I first meet them. And then when I say it back to them, they're like, fuck, how did you know that? I don't know, man. I just heard you. It's real loud. You just keep saying it over and over again, right? It's hard not to hear it. I think this is why me and cats get along. Cats hear a lot of things that we don't hear. That's why they're often like, huh? Right? Because they're like legit hearing something that our frequency doesn't catch it. It's not in our range of frequency. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. Where were we? Take it back. Right. So, what's going on with my live stream? Is everything okay? Yo, Angela, what's up? Angela is a new member. Angela is a friend of mine, actually. Angela should come to Miami. Okay. What if we also need to attract the wrong lovers? Deliberate broadcasting. Oh, that's where we're going. Thank you, broadcasting. Oh my God, I love you. Angela is so beautiful. She's such a wonderful person. She was my lifeline as well as Nicola when I was in Toronto. You guys are the best. My phone is blowing up, bro. Okay, so what I was saying was, hi, Anna. What I was saying was, thank you for taking me back, JB. Let me talk about the tower and then we'll talk about your question because it's a really good question. So we are these broadcasters and receivers. Now you're walking around with said broadcast. If your broadcast is help, 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 I don't want to be single. I need to be with someone. Someone be with me. Someone tell me I'm pretty. Someone tell me I'm good. Someone tell me, do you want to sleep with me? If that's your broadcast, there's a lot of people actually that are going to be attracted to that broadcast, but they're not the people that you want. These are people that will not treat you well. These are people who will take advantage of the fact that you need to be told those things. These are people who will take advantage of the fact that you cannot be in a sustained good mood without an external, little like boost of an ego. That's what I mean about emotional self-sufficiency. That's what I'm trying to get with this conversation. So if you think that you're having a really hard time getting over someone, if you think that you just can't be happy because you don't have this person, if you're really, really depressed because someone just doesn't want to fuck with you anymore, and this is something we've all been through. I've been through it. Everyone's been through it. Everyone has been in a scenario where someone you wanted to be with just didn't want to be with you. And if you haven't been there yet, wait, it'll happen to you too. What it comes down to, right, is what do I need from this person that I cannot give myself? And when you follow the root of that back, you always will see that the root of what you're wanting from them is something that they could never have given you. And it's probably why the relationship didn't work out in the first place. If you're super obsessed with somebody, that's probably why the relationship didn't work out to begin with, is because you're obsessed because of something. There's some lack that they have in their personality, something that they just can't give you that you really, really, really fucking need. And the more they don't give it to you because they naturally are just not like that, the more you become obsessed with them because you need that thing from someone who can't give it to you, because that's how you got that wound in the first place, is that you needed that thing and someone in your life, in your upbringing, it was just incapable of giving it to you. So whenever you come across someone who has that same incapability, it just hits that wound right on like salt, right? And then it's like, oh my God. Oh wait, is it working? Because it's not fucking working for me, man. Is it working? Oh my God, I'm so annoyed because I can't tell if it's working. Ugh, I'm so sorry. It's working. Okay, good. Then I'll just keep going. So that person that you just are completely sure you need this thing from, right? That thing that you're having so much trouble letting go of, that person who just doesn't want to fuck with you anymore, that thing that's just breaking your head and driving you crazy, I can't be without this person, or I love this person so much. Or if you're just in general tired of being lonely, tired of being alone, you've got to understand that being with someone is a lot more than just about being happy, right? That's the lie we get sold, and that's why it's so fucking dangerous. Because people get into relationships because they think it's going to make them happy. First of all, that's just not the premise of a relationship. You don't get into a relationship because you want to be happy. You're supposed to be in a relationship because you're so happy that you want to go do cool shit and be happy with someone. But we get into relationships to be happy. Then I'll be happy. When I have a boyfriend, then I'll be happy. When I have a boyfriend, I'll buy these things. When I have a boyfriend, I'll do these things. When I get married, then I'll go here. When I get married, I'll dress like that. When I get married, I want to do that. right? So what if the one is long distance, but he sees mixed messages when we aren't in the same city? Hold on, I'm getting there. Will this be able to be relayed for members? I'm not sure what that means. Oh, yeah. Will you be able to watch it later? Yes. So, right? So, what I'm saying is, damn it. Every time I look at the things, I lose my train of thought. Hi. Right? So, what I'm proposing here is that instead of looking externally, you just legit do things you really, really like to do. Like, get really strict with yourself about your authenticity, about your integrity. Like, what do you really like to do? What do you really like to eat? What do you really like to wear? What do you really like to listen to? Where do you really like to go? Like, a lot of times we hold ourselves back from these things because if we don't have a person to prop us up emotionally, we don't think we can go and do those things. But see, that's just a lack of self-esteem. That has nothing to do with being romantically involved with someone. Going on a trip with someone is mad annoying, to be perfectly honest, especially with a guy. Like, the only person that I've traveled with and it was like a dream in terms of like male, like a guy, is Baba's dad. And that's because he's like this sophisticated, well educated, well traveled, sailed around the world literally, right? And like has done all these incredible things. Like, he's the only person I've ever traveled well with. And it's because of all those things. It's because when we went to Rome together for our honeymoon, and the guy who dropped us off got in an accident because he was turned around staring at me, he laughed, right? My husband at the time, he laughed. He thought it was incredible. He was like, oh my God, what an incredible story. On our honeymoon, in Rome, someone crashed a car because he was turned around, craning his neck, looking at you. Like, how incredible. But like, I've been with other people who would have been really upset with that, and that would have turned into a fight. That would have legitimately been a fight, like for no reason. Not that I did anything wrong, but just like, oh my God, fuck, that guy was fucking looking at you, and like wouldn't have like gotten in a terrible mood. But like, right? So what I'm saying is, and again, the reason that wasn't annoying, the reason it worked is because we're both Geminis. We're both emotionally self-sufficient. So if somebody like looks at my husband at the time or someone looked at his wife at the time, we'd be like, yeah, like, yeah, incredible, right? I know. Like, I'm right there with you. That's why I married him. Like, so what I'm getting at is there's, don't blame the guy or bae. Let's be realsies. Huh? How do you balance fear of the, can you touch on getting over past relationships that you had? Hold on. There's so much going on. Okay. So going on a trip is mad annoying with someone, especially if they're not as cool as you and if they're not as confident as you, and their ego needs to be babied, or they need constant attention. Like, those things to me are so horribly annoying. Like, I can't even begin to explain to you how hard it is for me to be around somebody who, like, in a relationship, not in any other situation, in a relationship, like the person I'm with. I cannot abide the idea of a emotionally weak person. Like, I just get angry. I get irrationally angry. Like, just get away from me. Like, I don't have time for this. Like, I just go into a whole different mode of like savage. Like, I don't mince words even. I'm just like, get away from me. Like, because what you're doing is you're leeching off the person. And that's what I mean about someone that you're having a really hard time letting go of. You on some level want their energy, and they don't want to give it to you. And that's probably why they don't want to give it to you, because they can sense that you want more than you're entitled to. And that's a very hard pill to swallow, even for myself, but it's still true. Because if you were emotionally self-sufficient, you wouldn't want them the way you do. You'd be okay. You'd be hurt about it, but you'd go on. You'd be Marty Bird. You'd be like, that happened, but, got to go clean this money. Like, yeah, she cheated on me. It's horrible. My heart's broken. Got to go clean this money. High self-esteem, emotionally self-sufficient. Now, does that look a bit cold? Is my Virgo moon showing? Does that belie that I've been raised with 3 Capricorns? Yes, it does. But I think that if you hold emotionally self-sufficiency up against the rom-com culture that we are bred into, yeah, of course it's going to seem cold, because it's realistic and logical and self-preserving instead of being fodder, into some kind of like consumptive machine, like where everybody dresses in, like Barbie clothes or some shit. Like, I don't know. So will this be available to rewatch later? Yes. Don't we all need something from someone at some point? Yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's not about not needing stuff, right? There's a difference between your basic needs. Everyone has this basic need, for example, to be touched. We know that babies will die of what's called failure to thrive syndrome. We realized this in the 80s with crack babies. They were just dying in the nurseries for no apparent reason. Their bodies were shutting down. And through that experience, we realized that there is this thing in the human condition called failure to thrive syndrome, where if a baby is not touched, the body thinks that it's been left out in the wild or forgotten, and it will just shut itself down and die, right? So yes, we do need things from people, but I think what we're talking about is not being able to sustain a good mood, not being able to sustain and get done the things you need to get done in a day, not being able to feel genuinely happy inside about being alive or being relatively healthy or having friends, having family, having a place to live at the very least. If you don't have that, the fact that you have air in your lungs, right? Like when you forgo your basic gratitude of just being alive and having some sort of comfort because this person or this relationship or this job or this isn't going the way you want, or you're not getting what you need from it, then I think that you need that thing disproportionately. I think you want or need that thing more than you need things that you actually need, basic things, right? And like, I think that that's where I like to stay grounded. My basic needs are what I'm most grateful for. Like I like comfort. I like very clean surroundings. So I'm always super, super grateful for having clean surroundings. Like I love water without fluoride in it. So I'm always super grateful whenever I'm anywhere where they don't fluoridate the water. Just things like this, like the simplest of smallest things that will keep you grounded in, yeah, it sucks that someone's not texting you. Yeah, it sucks that that person doesn't want to be in a relationship with you, or that person lied to you, or that person cheated on you. Sure, these things happen, but I still have this clean, wonderful place to live. I'm still, a healthy human being. I'm alive. I've got friends. I've got family. I have these things that I enjoy and that I love. How do we forgo everything and fall into these rabbit holes because we're single? That is dangerous to me. Because if you're in a rabbit hole, anyone who looks in there, even just out of curiosity, like, what are you doing down there? You're going to be like, oh, save me, save me, save me, save me. I'll take it. Whatever you're like, I'll take it. Just get me out of here, And that just makes sense. Wait, I should just go back and read these comments because I'd be like talking so much. Reasons why my single self will get massages. Been trying to leave an overly emotional Pisces after 16 years and 4 kids. I'm a Libra, hardest thing I've ever had to do. Oh, so y'all be feeling that Libra reading. This has been weighing on me for so long, and I know I can't be alone here. The more I learn about the truth, the more afraid and I. What truth? What are we talking about? I missed something. What happened? Somebody fill me in. And the thing, oh, Naya. Hi. Everybody say hi, Naya. Naya reads and smiles. Hi, Naya. I always tell people I'm so much happier dating myself. I've tried things, but you know what, Naya? I'll tell you this. I was thinking about you the other day because I was looking at one of your posts and I was literally thinking to myself, I love how picky this girl is because the person that's going to come along, it's that person's going to be perfect for you because they can already gauge you from afar that you are really about your business and like you love yourself. And the way that radiates to anyone who would be attracted to you is just, it's undeniable. It's that thing that people often don't know how to articulate about Geminis. People will be like, I don't know what it is about that person. And you're like, what sign are they in? Gemini. Yeah, because that person genuinely cares deeply about themselves. Like Geminis care about themselves the way you care about the person you've been most in love with in your life. You know that person that you're like, you've been so in love with in your life that you would do anything for them, right? You would do anything for that person. You would like make them breakfast every morning and you would like massage their feet at night if they let you, whatever, if you've ever been in love like that, right? That's how Geminis feel about themselves. Like, for real. It's weird. We know. But we just like, we date ourselves. We love ourselves. We do wonderful, nice things for ourselves all the time. Like, we genuinely date ourselves, are in love with ourselves. And so when people are around us and they get a feel of that, they're like, man, that's like a drug. Like, that's like being on a drug all the time. Yeah. It's called love. Yeah. You can love yourself. Just like how it feels when that like perfect person loves you and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that person likes me. Oh my God, that person wants to date me. Oh my God, oh my God. That feeling, you can have that every day on tap from yourself. I know that sounds crazy. I already said it would be available to watch from. Oh, you're welcome. You're a Capricorn. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I was just talking about this earlier about being raised with Capricorns, and that's why I feel the way that I do. Um, I really think, welcome, welcome, Stay Woke Indigenous. Welcome, new member. Um, I'm down and love being on my own, but I do crave affection, intimacy, and companionship. Good question, good question, good question. Okay, yes. So the other thing that's really not talked about in our culture is celibacy. That's kind of like an ugly, like, let's not talk about celibacy. But we should talk about celibacy because you can't talk about sex and intimacy without talking about celibacy because without it, you're taking away the most obvious element of intimacy, which we overlook completely, which is the sacredness of it energetically. You can really mess yourself up sleeping with the wrong person if they have the wrong intent, if you have the wrong intent, if they're just using you for your body, if they're sleeping with multiple people and you're just one more person on their hit list. All of these things energetically really, really, really damage you and cause actual trauma to the body as well. Emotional trauma can tear the muscles in your heart. Did you know that? That's actually a thing. That's where broken heart comes from. So trauma means many things, but at the root, it means damage, right? Damage to you. And it's damage that is so sustained that the body goes into a sort of shock. The body is trying to deal with something that was so painful or so poisonous in some way that you have to now repair and recover and try to get this thing healed, right? So we don't talk about that. I'm about to go to ACL and do some LSD. Wanted to drop in and say I love you. I don't know what ACL is, but I love you too, and have a good trip, and I'll see you there. Call me if you need me. I'll be the one with the really long hair. You'll know me when you see me. That's the broken heart syndrome. Yeah. So intimacy and affection are incredibly important, and everybody needs them. And hugging your friends and hugging your family and kissing them on the cheek and hugging little kids and having a pet and doing all of these things are really, really important too. And bathing all the time and taking really good care of your body, and yes, getting massages and doing all these things, and they're all great. And it's not to say that you can't find somebody appropriate to sleep with either. It's not that either. But see, that's all different from being fucking obsessed with somebody. Right? Like, you see how much of a, like, how polarized we are culturally? Like, if it's not one, it's the other. It's not. There's a lot of gray. There's a lot of middle ground here that has nothing to do with putting all your power and all your needs into one person's hands, or doing, being like a monk like me. You don't have to do that. You can be somewhere in the middle. I choose to be this way just for right now, just because I don't feel, like I said yesterday on the live, I don't feel like I can be the best wife that I could be, and I don't particularly like the girlfriend thing. I've been a wife all my life, and I'm very good at being a wife, aside from being a Gemini. Ha ha ha. And I just I prefer it, and because I can't do that right now, I'd rather be single and be a professional and be a business person, and just have fun and live my life. And that is not to say that I don't have people around that I could potentially sleep with if I wanted to. Obviously I do, but I choose not to. And it's also because I'm going through my Uranus is in Taurus, which is opposite to Uranus in Scorpio, which is me. So I'm going through my Kundalini rising. And while you are experiencing your Kundalini rise, at least in Ayurvedic and Indian culture, North Indian culture especially, Aryan culture especially, you do not, you go celibate for that time period. It's not very long. It's about, probably like 3 years or something. When that process is over and the Kundalini has risen, then it is advisable for women to take a partner who is considerably younger than them. No problem there either, right? So, point being, this is supposed to be a considered decision, because with you at the center of it, and your well-being and your progress and your development and your needs being met, not about this vacuous kind of ridiculous idea that some person is going to come along and like make your life worth living. This whole like you complete me idea fucking irritates the shit out of me. Fuck you. How the fuck are you going to complete me, bro? First of all, who the fuck are you? Like, I'm so offended by the whole idea. Like, that just made me mad. Okay, let me read these comments. I'm looking at myself and I just be frowning so much when I talk. Kundalini. Yeah, we could do that. Welcome, Maria. Welcome, Ange. Coming from a millennial, what was sex like before internet porn? My generation used it as a teaching method of sorts. I might never know. Oh, okay. We could talk about that. So I don't actually know. What was it like before internet porn? The first guy I was married to grew up on a farm in the middle of Indiana, in the middle of nowhere, uh, in a farmhouse that I don't think had electricity. So they were like farmers, half Cherokee, half, I guess, like their lineage was, they were English, but they had been there for a long time, and like full blood Cherokee on the dad's side. So there was no like nothing there, so I don't know. Um, that was just like, yeah, I'm not sure. It was just very normal. I don't know what's it like now. I don't know what was it. I don't know how to answer what it was like then if it's all I know is what I'm saying. Is it horrible now? I don't know. I know that those 50 Shades books are very badly written. And I know that they're about like satisfying some sort of patriarchal, like deep seated desire to like this sex slave, dynamic. Um, that's just never sat well with me. And I feel like all of porn has that sort of bend to it. Um, I don't know. I don't know what it was like before compared to now. I think that the way to gauge it is really how body types have changed. I think we've moved more and more towards a body type that you see in porn because that's what men prefer, because that's what they're primed to. Um, but I think that existed even back then. Hey, what you doing? I'm on the live stream.
Yay.
Okay.
Why did you buy that?
What?
I could have kept the same thing in sports shop.
What? And I was like, what movies? It's like porn. You look like the girls in porn movies. And I was like, okay, is that a good thing? Like, like I was kind of annoyed. Like, okay. I was like, yeah, that's a good thing. And I like realized that like that his like sexuality had been primed by that, and he was the first person that I'd come across like that because I don't think that the other people that I'd been with had been primed like that because also like Baba's dad grew up in the middle of nowhere on a farm as well, so like just very remote places where I guess things were simpler. I mean, I know things are simpler here. Still, things are so simple here. Um, so I don't know, and it also depends, right? It depends on your society's relationship to sex because in places like Denmark, like sex is not a bad thing. So if it's not a bad thing, like kids that are like 15, 16 have sex and their parents aren't like, it's not a bad thing. It's like, okay, yeah, that's what you do, So it depends. Like we also live in this super puritanical culture in the US. So I'm not sure if you're in the US, but um, the more you make something gross, the more you leave room for that thing to become really corrupted. Like if it's already presupposed that sex is dirty and bad, then on some level, any woman that engages in it is a fucking whore, right? I mean, right? Like, this Scorpio says that, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to start talking about him. We're not talking about him anymore. Can you talk about people attempting to use magic on you to keep you in toxic situations? I mean, we can talk about magic. You had your mom stare. Oh, did I? Thanks. I don't know what the mom stare is, but I believe you that I had it. I'm sure I have a mom stare. I can like, I told a parent this when he was a baby. There was a woman who had a baby next door to us when we had Baba, and they were a few weeks apart. And we were walking down the street with them one day when they were both about 3. and they were running ahead of us on the street. And she just looked at me, and I was just walking, like chilling, talking to her. And she was like, "Do you see them running? Don't you see them running towards the crosswalk?" And I was like, "Yeah, but don't you have a stop button on your kid?" And she was like, "Excuse me?" And her kid was mad spoiled. And I was like, "Don't you have a stop button on your kid?" And she was like, "What does that mean, a stop button?" And I was like, "Isn't there a tone of voice or something that you can say that stops your kid in his tracks or in her tracks?" And she was like, "No, do you?" And I was like, "Yo, you can't get your kid to stand still when you need him to?" And she was like, "No, I have to chase after her and drag her and get her to do." And I was just mortified. And so they were, they're like running towards a crosswalk, and I just went, "Baba." And he just stopped short, turned around and was like, "Yes." I was like, "Right." And she just written, and sure enough, her mom had to run and go catch her before she ran into the street. And I was like, "Oh hell no, I'm not doing all that. What kind of parenting is this? What are you trying to run marathons? I mean, how's that translate to? What's that translate to when she's 16? You crazy? What are you doing?" And it's the same conversation I had with his dad when he was very little, when he was like a year old, younger than a year old. Um, and it was just basic discipline things where he was like, you can't discipline someone this young. Like, you can't expect a baby this young to understand. When I was like, yeah, you can. Because these are things that I will not argue with a child about at 17. You want to have arguments with a teenager? You go right ahead. I'm not doing that because I know what I was like as a teenager. You couldn't tell me anything. So whatever we're going to get into his head, we're going to get into his head now. Um, Hi. Um, and I firmly believe that all of that, I mean, I was reading him Nietzsche when he was in his crib. Well, he didn't have a crib. He slept in the bed with me. But like when he was like couldn't like didn't even know I think he was like 6 days old when I started reading Nietzsche too. So like there are other things, right? Every rainy day ever was spent at the Met, just roaming around. The Met was his playground on rainy days. Like there are other things that go into it, but the point is still that there was a thing. There was a stare, a word, a tone of voice, the word stop, and the kid would just stop whatever he was doing, and not like out of terror. It's not. That's the thing, and that's the thing that woman didn't understand. She's like, "Well, I don't want to scare my kid." And I was like, "Does Baba look scared? Baba ain't scared of shit. Baba's not scared of me and his father. Why should he be? We've never scared him. Why would he be scared of us? It's ridiculous. It's about respect. You respect a child, and they respect you. You ask them to do things for you, and you do things for them, and they understand that there's a mutual respect. If he also, but it goes both ways, right? So if I say Bob, he's going to stop what he's doing, turn around and give me the attention that I deserve and give me the respect I deserve. But when he calls my name, he doesn't have to call it 10 times. When he calls my name, I respond right away too. You understand what I'm saying? So it's both ways. So I don't know how we got off on that, but kids that have to be chased around and begged to do things. I never will you see someone boil and like actual steam come out of their head. The way, welcome, UG Rose. I can't even be around it. It's so, sounds so childish, but I can't be around it. I get like, I get angrier than anything could possibly make me. Yeah, actually. That's like the thing that I cannot abide. Anyway. Let's see. Yeah, first 5 years. That's it. But it's not just about having like authority, right? Like, oh, can we talk about royal jelly? Yeah, we can talk about royal jelly. Um, I mean, like even like screaming kids, right? Like screaming, crying kids. Like, yo, kids scream and cry if their needs aren't being met when they're really, really, really little. That's how they learn to scream and cry when they're older because their needs aren't being met. So they're like, this works when I was a baby, so I'm just going to keep doing this because my needs aren't being met. But if you meet their needs constantly and consistently when they're a baby, they don't. And then they don't grow up to remember that behavior in the same way, and they don't do it. Yo, literally, we would go to the playground when he was like 3, and kids would like cry and scream and throw a fit and like throw their shoes or start taking off their clothes in the sandbox, like, you know, out of like anger or whatever. And Baba would stand there and watch like it was like a movie, and then would look over at me like, you gonna do something, or you see what's happening over there? And I would just be like, I see it, Baba. And he would be like, and he would come over to me, and in the most like sane way, he'd be like, that's not good for that kid. Why is his parent letting him do that? Good fucking question. Why? What? Like that? You're right. That is not healthy. Why would you let your kid do something so bad for them? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Because you don't want to be the bad guy, because you don't want to be the authority figure. I have no, see, that's the thing. I have no problem being the authority figure in any situation. Like, people just be waiting on shit for no reason. Yesterday I was in the supermarket, and in Denmark no one will put their stuff down on the conveyor belt until there's like that thing that says like, here's my stuff, and then I put this thing down, this plastic thing, and then you can put your stuff down. They're very into this rule here, right? So I put my stuff down, but there was no thing to put down because they'd all been used. There's a long line of people behind this woman, but she will not put her food on the conveyor belt because the thing is not there. I stood there for a second. I watched it, and I was like, okay. So I just reached behind me, reached over the other checkout girl, and she had a bunch of them over there. So I just picked one up and put it down. Almost everyone breathed like an audible sigh of relief and like started putting their stuff down. And I was like, everyone would have just stood here and just like done nothing. Like I have no problem in any situation like stepping up and being like, this is what we're gonna do. Yo, this is simple. Let's just do this and get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, so, sorry, let me read these. Oh, now I'm seeing the eyes because it's finally playing over here when Baba was on screen. How incredible is Baba though? Like for real. Like, mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. Sheep, where people, sheep is, and you know what? There's like this experiment that was done, where they, because of this woman that was killed, in the quad of a housing, like a complex, and later it was determined that everyone had heard her screaming, and the whole complex of buildings had heard her, and no one had done anything. And through that experience and the subsequent experiments that came from that, it was determined that there was this 1 or 2% of the population that's called like the superhero percentage, where large percentages of the population, when they're put in a situation where they have to step up and either help someone or save someone or aid someone, they don't. They just do nothing. Either they freeze or they run the other way. And there's this like unique 1.5% of people who in any situation will be like, this is what we're doing, this is what we need to do, go, like someone's getting killed, let's go fucking fuck that person up, or whatever it is, right? Like, you could call it brave, you could call it having initiative, you could call it having high self-esteem. I think it's actually having high self-esteem, to be perfectly honest. I think that if you find yourself to be capable of doing pretty much anything, then no matter what you come across, you're like, I can handle this, right? Someone's screaming, someone's obviously being hurt, let's go find out what the fuck's going on. What's happening to this person, right? So okay, sorry, let's go back to this. There's a great Netflix documentary on that story. Yes, there is. What's the name of the documentary? Can we talk about manifesting? Yes, we can. Why would you do, there was a TV show like that? What would you do? Yes. And then it's true, people who struggle with self-esteem will be too scared of being judged. Yeah, exactly. Like even just reaching over, getting the fucking plastic thing to put on the conveyor belt was like there were people in the line who were like, whoa, what are you doing? Bro, I'm moving shit along. Okay, so manifesting. Or was it another author? Wait, did you just say you read Baba Nietzsche? Yes, Nietzsche. I did. I read him Nietzsche when he was a baby. I read it to my nephew Suhaib as well when he was a baby. The first year of Baba's life, his father wouldn't allow any sounds except vinyl records and bird sounds. It was very difficult to adhere to that, but we did it. Um, Aside from the obvious sirens in New York City. Um, yeah, we did a lot of things like that. He ate no meat until he was like, I think 4. Um, but that's because he wouldn't, not because we didn't want him to. He just wouldn't. Um, what else? You're dressing up as Venus retrograde for Halloween. What does that mean? Are you just gonna show up as like a bloody mess with like a bunch of like text messages from your exes like printed and like posted on you? Because that would be dope. Because he's got many. What? You guys, I had dinner with the creator. What would you do this week? Oh, you had dinner with the guy who made What Would You Do? Oh, cool, cool, cool. How random. Mine is 5 and still won't eat meat. Yeah, yeah. Um, no, I said Nietzsche. Uh, to this radio program called Tweet of the Day, where it was a different bird sound each morning. Yeah, he was really into bird sounds and nature sounds and just positive artistic impressions and yeah, just like yeah, I tell Bob all the time that he's super lucky. Um, his father is like obsessed with him, is so in love with him. It's like amazing, mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. But I always knew that he would be an incredible father, which is why I wanted to have a kid with him. New member Jessney Della Rosa. Welcome, Jessney. So yeah, so let's talk about manifesting now, and then we're gonna call it a night because it's been like an hour, I think. Um, let's give it like 20 minutes because then that little one needs to go to sleep, even though he's on vacation right now. Advice for Gemini who's in love with a Scorpio. In Venus retrograde, he comes in and out of my life. Yeah. Um, See, they have to come to you when they're ready. And they aren't ready until they know who they are. And you aren't ready until you know who you are, right? So it takes Scorpios a really long time to figure out who they are. They go through all these different like shells, you know, until they get to like themselves. And then when they get to themselves, they figure out who they can't live without. And then if it's you, it's you. And if it's not, it's not. And you have to be okay with that. By the time they figure it out, we're gone. Again, it depends, right? Because I mean, listen, if something is going to happen, Scorpios usually know it's going to happen. You got to kind of trust them. And if you know that something is real, see, like the thing about like waiting at the fountain and having partners or not having partners, emotional self sufficiency, it's all related, right? Like if you know something in your gut, then you know it. But if you don't know, then just chill and hang out and be yourself and have fun. And you'll come across someone and you'll know it. But if you know it and that person isn't reciprocating, then you gotta like be honest with yourself. Do you actually know? And are you just happy with the fact that you love someone that much? Or are you not happy because you need them to love you back? That's the thing with Scorpios. I think Scorpios love people that don't expect to be loved back. And then they're like, whoa, you love me anyway? Wow, okay. Like, I don't get it. Why would you love me anyway? Just because, like, oh, okay. Well, I haven't even given you anything yet. Like, I could give you the world, but like, I haven't even getting you love me anyway? Yeah, duh. Like, that's a feeling, right? If you go off your feelings the way they go off their feelings, you throw them off. But that requires like Scorpio level commitment. Like, these are people that will stay single for years because no one is to their level. Like, it requires a steel mind, you know? Like, you can't be wishy washy with them. Like, if you know it's them, then it's them. Then, like, they think nothing of making you wait forever and then being like, what, but didn't you know? I thought you knew. You know, it's like, yeah, but be normal, but they're not normal. Then go be, with like somebody normal, not a Scorpio, aka not a Scorpio. Um, Chambers, a jack of all trades. Wait, I've lost the thread of this conversation. Hold on, let me go check and read. Sorry, I'm just reading. I like get so caught when I read anything. It doesn't matter what I'm reading. I just get lost. Anyway, so what was the point? What were we talking about? Y'all got me talking about Scorpios. It got me mad distracted, bro. What were we talking about? Manifesting? Should we say? Oh, royal jelly. Okay. Let's talk about royal jelly really fast. How do you think queen bees are made? Do you think they are genetically somehow different? They are not. They are normal bees that are fed something. A normal, arbitrary bee is chosen. That bee, remember this from Clueless when she's doing this? I totally relate to that movie on several levels, by the way. I get her. I get Cher. I understand everything she does and why she does it. Okay. So, an arbitrary bee is chosen and it is fed this substance that the bees make. It is not honey, it is something else. It is called royal jelly. The arbitrary normal bee grows to 400% its size and starts laying thousands of eggs every day. What could possibly be in royal jelly that makes that happen? Obviously, it's hormones, it's estrogen and progesterone. If you take it, you will get super fertile, you will get pregnant. So be careful. But it's also super good for you. Sorry, I had to approve a comment for some reason. Manifesting. Okay, right. Well, we talk about self sufficiency during the Venus retrograde, because that's when the places where we are not emotionally self-sufficient become the most obvious, right? This is when this talk is most necessary, right? I mean, I would assume. Manifesting. Read The Isaiah Effect by Greg Braden. Actually, listen to it. Listen to The Isaiah Effect on audiobook by Greg Braden, because he talks about one of the Dead Sea Scrolls that was found and how the Dead Sea Scroll, the book of Isaiah, the Gospel of Isaiah, lays out how to manifest. And it's very simple. It's when we're going to talk about this in the Scorpio manifestation video that's coming up in a few days. So this can be like a little sneak peek for you guys, and then we'll wrap it up. So, hey, so this is what it is. The universe is fractal. Okay, we know that mathematically. So you're just going to have to believe me on that. And if you don't know what that means, you need to go look up fractals and Mandelbrot and the whole the math aspect of it, because it's important. You should know about it. And I'll talk about it more in the book as well, but you need to read up on that, and you need to watch some stuff on it to really understand the absolute like wonder of and the design of the world that we live in. It's insane. Anyway, take my word for the fact that the world is fractal. And what does that mean? That means that everything you see is just a smaller representation of the same thing bigger. Like those Matryoshka dolls, we're all just a smaller version of something that looks and is just like us, but bigger, 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 bigger. But on every level, every movement is fractal, every mechanism is fractal, every system is fractal. Everything happens on a larger plane and therefore is happening on a smaller plane. So, having said that, right? No, I can't look. I can't look. I can't look because then I get distracted. Okay. So having said that, your yes, stay with it. Okay, there it is. Good. So your body will make certain hormones that will keep you feeling the way you are feeling. So when you're sad, your body will signal the production of more chemical compounds that will make you sad, keep you sad. So within your own body, you have the fractal nature of manifestation there, present. Just as your body reacts to your mind, this construct reacts to you. So when you're sad, your body gives you more reasons to be sad, more chemical messengers to make you sad. When you're sad out here, this construct gives you more situations to produce that thing that you obviously are giving out and must obviously want more of. The body wants to sustain whatever emotion you've created. So if that's sad, it'll give you more compounds to make sad. And this construct has been created to give you more of what you think and feel, plus feeling, just like it is emotion that gets your body to create these hormones to keep you in that emotion. It is emotion plus thought that gets this construct to keep giving you whatever emotion plus thought you are producing. So for example, since we're so up in my fucking business, let's just talk about the Scorpio. My love in life was yearning. That's what I saw in every Bollywood movie. That's what I loved in every song that I really ever liked, was just this yearning for this love that's there, but you can't have it somehow, or oh my God, that's so romantic, the whole Romeo and Juliet shit, right? And so my thinking and feeling, the music I listened to, the images I saw, the movies I loved, everything was emitting this broadcast of yearning. And so the construct was like, yo, give her something to yearn for and make it the best, most amazing fucking yearning possible. And like put them in scenarios where they constantly have to yearn for each other and cannot be together, and it's not even their own fucking fault. Like, that's the perfect yearning. He's never done anything wrong. I never did anything wrong. We just can't be together. It's not even about us. It's something much larger than us that has nothing to do with us. Perfect yearning. Because that's what I kept putting out. That's what I like. That's what I love. That's what I'm into. That's what everything that really gets to me had that element of like, oh, I love this person, but I want to be with them so bad, but I can't for some reason. Oh my God. You know, like all of it. All of it. I was doing all that shit. I loved all that shit. And so this fractal construct gave me back exactly what I would need to ramp up that yearning even more. It's trying to help me, it's trying to give me what I want. But I kept lying to myself and saying that that's not what I wanted, even though that's exactly what the fuck I like and what the fuck I wanted. But kept being sad that I wasn't getting what I wanted, but this is exactly what the fuck I wanted. Like the practical reality of actually being with that person. You saw what I said on Instagram Live yesterday about not being able to be there for the nine nights of Navratri and not being able to be like the girl in that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, Body of Lies. In Body of Lies, there y'all are getting all up in my fucking business, but okay. In Body of Lies, there is a character who is the head of Jordanian intelligence, and he's super hot in that movie, by the way, but only because that movie. He's actually like this guy named like Mark Strong, who's not hot at all, but in that movie, he's super fucking hot. Um, and there's this scene. I mean, he's hot for many, many reasons aside from the fact that he's intelligence, um, and he's Jordanian, and he does the accent perfectly. So it's like, but there's this scene where he's getting dressed in the morning and he's watching some like news report that's going to make him really angry. Um, and even though he's perfect, who? Um, and his wife, while he's like watching this news report and huffing and puffing and being mad, his wife is handing him the tea that she made for him while she's putting his cufflinks on him. She's basically dressing him and feeding him while he's just standing there. Um, and see, that's the reality. That's the practical reality of what that life would be like. And you see how when it wasn't about yearning and it was actually about like, this is the practical reality of what it would be like. I was like, yeah, you know, but I have to go to Denmark all the time. And, you know, I can't just give my all to that. I can't, you know, be like, putting on cufflink. You saw what the fuck I was saying yesterday. Like, so again, manifesting is about being, really, really honest with yourself about what it is that you actually want. Because here's the ugly truth of it: you're manifesting right now. Whatever's going on in your life right now, you honestly, deep down inside, you really believe that that's what should be happening. And as soon as you don't believe that anymore, it won't happen anymore. Like, as soon as I figured out that yearning thing, I was like, oh, yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's exactly what the fuck I've been doing. Yeah. Huh. And then it wasn't a yearning anymore. Then it was like an actuality, and I was like, yeah, we'll see. You know. Now I'm looking at myself reading these comments, looking like the masked marauder. Do you have a set routine for wearing your malas? No. Yay, Mark Strong. As a Brit, I love him. Yo, Mark Strong was so hot in that movie. Do you know the movie I'm talking about? Do you know the character? Because, like, that's my Scorpio up and down. Um, if I manifested this life, then there has to be more to it. You are amazing. Of course, there's more to it, but you got to get real, real, real clear. Thank you. You got to get real, real, real clear on what it is that you actually want. Um, because we really be lying to ourselves and saying that we want shit that we don't actually, like, inside. We don't think that we could have it. We don't believe we can have it. We don't actually want it. We would be scared to death if it actually showed up. We'd be like, no, 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 I can't handle this, or I can't do this, or I'm not ready, or I'm not good enough, or what about this? Or I should have fixed this first, or I should be this much thinner, or that I should be this much this, or whatever. Like, if you really, really, really were ready and you thought like, boom, like it's like I deserve this, or this is where I'm at, or this is what I am, or this is, it would be there. I know that sounds crazy. I know, but you have to go off the supposition that you're manifesting right now. Manifesting isn't something you turn on and off. That's why in the videos, what I talk about, I'm taking for granted that you're manifesting all the time. And I'm talking about how do we redirect this stream for this season. The stream is always there, the stream is always going. No one can stop it. If you stop manifesting, the construct would disappear. Understand? You're keeping it going. You get that? Like, this is your lesson, this is your school. You're manifesting it so you can learn, so your soul can learn. You get it? Like, this is your course in manifestation. You know, when they throw you in the water as an infant, you're gonna fucking swim because like you were swimming in the amniotic fluid and you'll be all right. Like, trial by fire. You're manifesting all the time. The stream is going, the current is running. Which way are you going to direct it? Uphill, up to the top of that mountain where you want to be, or are you going to let it flow down into the depth? It's up to you, man. It's up to you. You want to become a huge, roaring river? Up to you. But it's not this thing that sometimes you get into the zone and then you get in the thing. That's when you can control the flow of it. But that's the current, the stream is always running. You don't produce that. That's just always happening. You're always manifesting all the time. That's why things change so rapidly depending on your emotion. You know that. You feel that all the time. You're in a bad mood, everything goes wrong. You're in a good mood, even the bad shit turns out right. You know? Yeah. You see what I'm saying, Mona? You see what I'm saying? No, you don't have to try to get it. You get it. You get it. You get it. How do we become clearer on our life purpose? Yeah, I'm gonna let's talk about that, Jesse. Thank you, and then we'll wrap it there. Also, love you. I changed my entire house in a day. Shit was crazy. Feng Shui is a great way to get the energy moving. I'm a big believer in Feng Shui. What was it? What was it? What was it? What was it? Life purpose. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna do the unpopular opinion thing. If your life purpose, at its very essence and core, is not to be a positive, helpful, intelligent, knowledgeable, useful force in everyone's life around you, I'm not sure how to advise you. Because I feel like that has to be the foundation that you build anything else on. What your interests are, what you're good at, but at the base of it, whenever people ask me about life purpose, I'm a little bit confused, not because I'm judging, but just because I can't see what other answer there can actually be to that question. I've never heard an answer other than being of use and service that didn't just seem like total bullshit and like an asshole answer. Like, of course, but being of use and service means that you make beautiful art. Maybe you make beautiful clothes. Maybe you make beautiful shoes. Maybe you make beautiful videos. Maybe you make do beautiful makeup. Maybe, whatever it is that you do, that is your expression of how to be a positive, productive, loving, knowledgeable, intelligent force in the lives of anyone you come across, right? If that isn't your base foundational life purpose, I think you're going to end up unhappy. Because I haven't met anyone who has a different life purpose who's happy. Does that make sense? Like, let me read. You better lose that yearning feeling if you actually want to be with somebody. Hi, welcome, Moisa. But wait a minute. Hold on. You're wanting to be single for the next few years, etc. But Jupiter is going into Sagittarius. How's that going to work out? Asking because I'm a Gemini ascendant. Okay, well, here's the thing. I've I've already gone through most of my like singledom or like what I wanted to, in terms of like my celibate years or whatever. I've already done it. So I'm not like, I'm actually very much looking forward to Jupiter coming into Sagittarius only because I know that whatever comes to me is going to be the best of the best. And I don't move until it's the best of the best. Like I'm this most stubborn, picky, savage person when it like I just will not compromise on that. So I'm really looking forward to Jupiter because it's like the best of the best is on its way and I'm all for it because all this like trife clown shit for the past like 5, 6 years just you know just so it's gonna be great. Don't worry. Isn't that the Gemini way? Um, Hi. Isn't that the Gemini way? Yeah. Yeah, but I think Geminis can get fooled into being in relationships with people because they get lonely. And that doesn't happen with Virgo placements. Like lonely is just again, Marty Bird. Lonely is just a thing. Go on with your life, get your work done. It is what it is. Whereas Geminis can get like sentimental about it and like go below their standards just because, especially like Gemini moons, Gemini risings, can fall below their standards because they lose steam, they lose conviction towards the end of the game, and they start to get tossed around like an I Ching. It says, as long as your emotions and your happiness depends on anything outside of yourself, you will be a ship tossed at sea constantly. And you won't be able to hold your conviction about things, about anything, because your sense of self is being directed from the outside, Um, and that can happen with Gemini moon, Gemini rising, especially, but Gemini's period. So you have to be careful, right? Like you can't lose steam towards the end. You can't just like kind of give up and say, okay, well, this is good enough. Because it's exceptional. It can't just be exceptional. It has to be the best of the best, and it has to be perfect for you. It's not enough to just be exceptional. I'm sorry. There's a lot of exceptional people. It doesn't make them right for you. You know, they have to be exceptional and love you and be crazy about you. And if they're not, they can go the fuck ahead. It's simple. Um, and in the meantime, you have to be okay with being fucking exceptional for yourself. You know? So I'm not like trying to stay single, not at all. But I can't be Mark Strong's wife, I can't be the Jordanian intelligence officer's wife. I don't have the time to put your cufflinks in, although I would really like to. And you'd probably never make it to work. But, it is what it is. So you gotta wait. You gotta wait until it's not just exceptional, until it's not just a situation that would probably make both of you lose any sort of job or income because you never leave the fucking house. It has to be more than that. It has to be perfect for you. Welcome, Denise. I am a service worker. Let's read this. I am a service worker. I love it. I work with developmentally disabled and I care for them like a family. Oh, that's nice, Maria. Okay, so I think we'll wrap it there because it's almost midnight. Um, yeah, this was fun, right? In a couple of weeks, we'll talk about the products that that I showed you last time. Most of them are doing really well. I love the Boskia Aloe Cactus Water Moisturizer. I love it. I actually really like the Dennis Gross Exfoliating Moisturizer as well. We'll talk about skin mites because I just found something out about that really grossed me out, and it's like made me even ramp up my face routine even more. Not that anything even related happened. I just follow this facts page on Instagram, and they were talking about skin mites, and it grossed me out so bad that I started looking it up, and I was like, "What?" um, what other products? We'll talk about the Norvina palette and the Boskia setting spray, which I also have fallen in love with. Um, and some of the other skincare. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I have a list of things, so we'll go down that. And that'll be in 2 weeks. So the next thing coming up in a little bit is going to be the Scorpio manifestation videos. And I'm going to try to have all the videos out between the 20th and the 25th. Let's see how that goes. But Scorpio season is so direct and so mysterious at the same time that I suspect that the videos will be very short, but like poisonous, like to the heart kind of stuff, because that's just what happens to me as soon as Scorpio season hits. I just turn into like a fucking savage, and just like the stinger is there any moment. Um, but also Scorpios are so sophisticated and sexy, so that also like I have this like propriety and this ability to really like be very well behaved in Scorpio season. So that'll be fun. I'm sure you'll see it come across in the videos. I hope you guys liked the Halloween stuff. It was so much fun to do. I'm so glad you guys liked it so much and like were into your chosen costumes. I thought they were pretty accurate. What else? It is dark where she is, where I am. Hi, I'm right here. It is dark where I am because I'm in Denmark right now. So it is midnight here, 10 to 12 actually. Mia Wallace. Oh my god, I love that opening. In Scorpio season. Oh my god. My wife and son are Libra moons, and I am a Libra rising. Oh. Love the costumes, right? The costumes were lit. Back in Denmark, yes, ma'am. That's the life. So I will call it a night. Hi. I love you guys. Mwah. Um, take it easy, okay? Don't be too hard on yourselves. Try not to let it all get to you. This season can be difficult. The end of the seasons are difficult. Don't text anybody. Make a list of things that you need to do for you and follow it. Marty Bird style. Follow it. And if you don't know what I mean by Marty Bird style, watch Ozark because it's phenomenal. And you will watch someone who has extremely high self esteem handle his life over and over and over and over again. And it's inspiring and it's wonderful to watch. And plus, Jason Bateman is a fucking man. So there's also that. The next podcast hopefully will be up tomorrow. Inshallah, that will be good. When are you able to purchase the Astrophysical book? Hopefully, as soon as all the chapters are out. All right, babies. I love you. I will see you in a couple of weeks, okay?